Imagine raising 3 British children and calling the UK your home for 20 years, only to be served deportation order, which means that you must leave the country. That is the story that you're about to find out. If you know anyone who lives in the UK who doesn't have British citizenship yet, kindly ensure that they see this video. There are valuable lessons that can be learned from the story of this brother. Because his children are British and they still live in the UK, the court has granted the family's request to anonymize the guy's name. So throughout this video, we're going to use BO to address him, and that is how he was addressed in the court. BO first arrived in the UK 20 years ago on a visitor's visa. He came on a 6-month visitor's visa, and this brother, after 2 years, he got married to a French woman. When he got married to his French woman, he was granted residence. The resident allowed this guy to live and work in the UK. BO then met a friend who is an immigration advisor. BO and this friend, they then formed unbreakable alliance, and that alliance, BO would then bring clients from, we suspect, within the Nigerian community and bring the client to this friend. They were making a lot of money. They were submitting fake documents to support application for a lot of people from our community. BO was luck then ran out of BO. When luck ran out of BO, he was charged at Wood Green Court. He was charged for conspiracy to assist unlawful immigration. The operation ran for 18 months. There are reports that they made a lot of money. After that, the judge then said that what BO did, it was exploitation. They took money from poor people, mostly from our community, and they exploited their desperation to stay in the country. The judge described his action as exploitation, and he said his actions strike at the heart of the British immigration system. You see people that are desperate to stay in the country. You exploited their desperation to stay in the country, and you made a lot of money. Now the judge then sentenced BO to 2 years in prison in 2013. When he was sentenced to jail, that triggered his deportation when he was sentenced to jail, because his residence was revoked. When he came out of prison in 2015, he served 2 years, and they said, dude, you need to leave the country. BO said, no, where do you want me to go? I have British children. That is when the battle started. BO, for 10 years, he has been fighting immigration enforcement. He has submitted multiple applications. Judicial review has been ordered. Different findings. And each of these human rights grants and each of these rulings, he lost the case every time the case went to court. Each deportation, the court will say, oh, deportation is justified because the need for public interest, national security, outweighs the right to family life. But BO is a man who doesn't give up. He believes that he has to stay in the country. His argument was, the children are British. If you separate my children from me, that is unduly harsh. That is what BO and his advisors told the court, that this is harsh. The case didn't end there. BO then consulted an independent social worker to submit another evidence. The social worker wrote a report and said The children will suffer emotional harm if they were to be separated from their father. The social worker cited in his or her report that the last time when B.O. was sent to prison in 2013 to 2015, the children suffer emotional harm. What the social worker didn't know was that when you're dealing with a judge, you have to be meticulous. You have to make sure your analysis is spot on. The judge then asked the social worker, when the father B.O. went to jail in 2013, these children, they are young. They were young children. And now the children, you're looking at children who are 21, 17. And the judge said the earlier ruling is stand. The judge said the social worker and B.O., they did not come to this new court with a clean state. They came with the same argument that they have been making over the years. The judge said the children are now 20, 17, 15, and 12. They are at the stage where they are no longer depending on their father as they were when he first went to jail many years ago. So the judge then said that argument, it doesn't hold water. And the judge actually criticized the social worker for being uncritical and taking the family's narrative by believing everything B.O. and his family told them. The judge said the fear that the family said that if you go to Nigeria, Nigeria is unsafe. The children will suffer harm. The judge said, Dangote, the richest black man, lives in Nigeria. If Nigeria is that bad, why do you have people like Dangote? The argument that they will suffer emotional harm, it does not hold water in my court. And the upper tribunal dismissed the appeal. Deportation, as I speak to you today, is imminent because the DO has exhausted all options to stay in the country. Maybe he will be on his way or is already on his way to Nigeria. The judge also criticized the delay that this has taken 10 years and taxpayers' money and time have been exhausted. Now, what are the lessons? What are the lessons that can be learned from this case? It highlights deeper delay in immigration enforcement. It shows how appeal can stall removal for years. It raises questions about fairness and consistency, and also shows that the right to family life is not sacrosanct. The need to keep the public safe outweighs the right to family life. This case can become a reference point. Shabana Mahmood, the Home Secretary, was quoted as saying recently that she plans to streamline the appeal process because she said a lot of people are using human rights law, the right to family life, to try to stall immigration case. Now that you've watched this case, let me know what your views are in the comment section. Do you have any sympathy for B.O., who has lived here for 20 years, who wants to be able to see his grandchildren someday? Now the brother is being asked to go back to Nigeria. Why some people say, well, when you collect money from vulnerable people because you think that they are weak, when they go to bed and pray and cry to God, that you will one day meet your water loan. Only God knows how the water get into the coconut, as they say in Warri. Let me know what your views are in the comment section. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. This is the source of the story if you want to read up on the story. I'll see you soon.